Think you've seen messy celebrity breakups? This one's on a whole other level. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie weren't just any Hollywood couple. They were the couple red carpets, magazine covers, the whole deal. When they split, it wasn't quiet, it exploded. Now, Pitt says Jolie secretly sold her half of their French vineyard, Miraval, the place where they actually got married without even telling him. We're talking about 22 emails, a $35 million lawsuit, and lawyers bickering over what's private and what's damning evidence. At first, everyone brushed it off as just another tabloid circus. Then Pitt's legal team started throwing around words like bad faith concealment and premeditated betrayal. Suddenly, the rosé that once meant romance started tasting like payback. Jolie calls what she did her freedom. Pitt thinks she blew up everything on purpose. And those emails? Word is, they're packed with the real story: who started the fight, who double-crossed who. If those messages ever go public, both of them risk losing that shiny, carefully crafted image. What's hiding in those emails, really? Ruthless business maneuvers or heartbreak with a business spin? Either way, Miraval isn't just wine anymore, it's evidence. So don't go anywhere. If those emails spill, nobody's sipping tea. The internet's going to chug it straight from the bottle. Before the lawyers got involved, before the paperwork and court drama, before Miraval blew up into a hashtag, there was just the two of them. Brad and Angelina, Hollywood's golden couple, the kind of pairing every tabloid called modern royalty. You remember, right? Magazine covers everywhere, posing for cameras with their kids, big charity trips, red carpets that felt less like movie premieres and more like royal events. Miraval was their passion project. A vineyard they turned into a love letter. They filmed perfume commercials there, put out wine that actually won awards, even got married under those soft pink arches. For years, that place sold a dream: peace, art, family, a legacy. It was supposed to be their quiet after years of chaos. But that peace didn't hold. People close to them started noticing cracks. He ran the place like a business empire. She treated it like a piece of art. He cared about the brand, she cared about the meaning. And while everyone else was still raising glasses to Brangelina, their friends saw them drifting apart. To fans, Miraval looked like a forever kind of love bottled up in Provence. But for Brad and Angelina, it turned into a pressure cooker with a pretty view. So when news broke about the secret sale, it didn't just surprise people, it felt like watching the fairy tale fall apart in real time. Was it ever really about love, or just the perfect story that didn't age well? Then 2021 hit, and the fairy tale cracked wide open. Angelina Jolie, no big announcement, just quietly signed away her half of Chateau Miraval to Tenute Del Mondo, a company tied to Stoli. No joint decision, no warning, not even a courtesy text. She signed the papers, went to bed, and woke up to her name splashed across the news. Brad Pitt's lawyers? They lost it. They insisted both of them had agreed. Neither could sell without the other's say, so in the court docs, they called Jolie's move a calculated act of bad faith. To Brad, this wasn't just business. It felt like a sneak attack. For Angelina, though, it was freedom. Her side told the press she just wanted out of a toxic partnership. And with that, years of pent-up frustration exploded. Their vineyard, once this dreamy symbol of love, suddenly turned into a $35 million legal war zone. Lawyers all over LA started gossiping. This one's personal. But the real shock? Brad demanded her private emails. He claimed they'd show she'd been scheming the sale for months, planning with advisors while still working out custody. Jolie's camp shot back, calling his request a fishing expedition disguised as discovery. The tabloids ate it up. What started as a business deal turned into a public breakup autopsy. Every motion, every leak, another headline. Now, everyone stopped asking who owned Miraval. The real question is, who actually owned the truth? Here's where things really heat up. Court records lay out a string of 22 emails traded between Angelina's advisors Arminka Helich and Chloe Dalton mapping out the Miraval sale. Pitt's team says these weren't just stray conversations. They call them the playbook. One email supposedly says, Brad will never agree we move forward regardless. Another talks about timing the announcement before Q3 as if they were launching a new product, not splitting up a piece of history. Pitt's lawyers are all over this. They say the emails scream deception, throwing around words like malice and bad faith all through their filings. According to them, Jolie set up shell companies, kept the whole thing under wraps, and iced Pitt out of the process until it was way too late. Jolie's side isn't having it. They call the whole story fiction wrapped in litigation. Their take? The emails are protected by attorney-client privilege, and even if they weren't, there's nothing shady in there, just a woman fed up with endless business drama. But honestly, what's got everyone obsessed are the missing attachments. Files named Deal Overview, Buyer Call, and Confidential, docs, just vanished. Reddit sleuths are already spinning theories about a supposed revenge clause. Nothing confirmed, but it's enough to keep the gossip mill running. At the end of the day, experts say Pitt's entire $35 million claim hangs on these 22 emails. If the court lets them in, it changes everything. If not, his case probably falls apart. So, what do you think? Should private emails between exes count as evidence? Right now, this courtroom isn't just weighing the law, it's testing loyalties. The second those court filings landed, Hollywood couldn't stop buzzing. Producers, lawyers, old co-stars, suddenly, everyone claimed they had the inside scoop. One exec told Variety, "Those emails are the smoking gun. That's why she wants them buried." But someone close to Jolie fired back. "Brad's obsessed with control. He's turning heartbreak into a legal brawl." Forget love story or business deal, this was a full-on PR chess match broadcast live. Pitt's lawyers painted him as the genius builder, stabbed in the back by his partner. Jolie's team threw it right back, calling him a controlling ex using lawsuits to keep his grip. Fans? They split in an instant. Team Brad filled the internet with memes. He built it, she sold it, showed up everywhere. Angelina's side fought just as hard. Numbers she owned her share wouldn't die for days. Then the leaks started flying. Anonymous accounts started dropping supposed quotes from the email chain, probably fake, but nobody cared. One said, "If he won't sell, we'll sell around him." Another accused her of calling him impossible to reason with. No one could prove a thing. Didn't matter. In Hollywood, screenshots buy more gossip than facts ever could. By the second week, nobody remembered this was a lawsuit. It felt like a Netflix doc playing out in real time. Every new court filing had its own drama. Fans made slick edits, hashtags exploded. The minute Jolie's PR called his move harassment under the guise of discovery, Twitter turned it into number discovery drama, trending before breakfast. And through all that chaos, total silence from both sides. No interviews, no posts, nothing but legal filings. That quiet? It only made everything louder. In Hollywood, silence isn't peace. It's plotting. So, who's really behind all the leaks? Lawyers? Assistants? Or is it someone even closer, playing both sides? And just like that, the internet lost it. The second the story took off, #Miraval emails exploded everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, you name it. You couldn't scroll for 2 seconds without seeing it. 1 million posts in less than 48 hours. People started digging up old wedding videos from 2014, throwing on dramatic courtroom audio for effect. TikTok slowed their vows to a crawl, slapped on captions like, "From love to lawsuit." Fan accounts got creative. Split screens with Miraval wine bottles on one side, court docs on the other. The captions nailed it. The rosé tastes different now. Reddit turned into a full-on detective squad. Users dove into business records, trademarks, ancient interviews, anything they could get their hands on. Jokes popped up everywhere. Internet sleuths outsmarting the actual lawyers. One comment really took off. "Who needs subpoenas? We've got Google." YouTube drama channels couldn't help themselves. Every hour, another video appeared. Titles like Brad vs. Angie, The Vineyard Betrayal pulled in millions of views. Creators pored over legal PDFs like they were juicy leaked texts. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be the investigator or the judge, depending on the day. And the memes? Non-stop. Someone photoshopped a Miraval bottle with Tears Edition on the label, and it blew up on X 80,000 retweets just like that. TikTokers staged fake court scenes, swirling wine in their glasses. He built it, she sold it, turned into a viral audio trend overnight. Even celebrities jumped in. One actress tweeted, "Never sign a joint deal with your soulmate." Somebody else replied, "Emails are forever." The internet took their messy breakup and turned it into a full-blown spectacle, real heartbreak, recycled into content. But underneath all the chaos, something real started to happen. This wasn't just tabloid fodder anymore. People picked sides and dug in for a fight. Was she breaking free or pulling a fast one? Was he really the victim, or just mad he lost control? Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, free Angelina going head-to-head with justice for Brad. Even people who didn't care were begging, "Can someone just delete the vineyard already?" The online circus gave the whole case new energy. Every meme, every opinion, it all made things louder. Suddenly, this wasn't only a legal battle, it was a fandom war, and the story kept changing by the minute. So, honestly, when the internet starts picking sides, is it really about justice or just another show? By the third month, nobody was just watching for drama anymore. They were tired. The whole thing stopped feeling like gossip and started feeling heavy. Suddenly, the internet took two of Hollywood's biggest names and turned them into rival hashtags. Both brands started to take real hits. Miraval, once the go-to rosé for influencers, just disappeared. Distributors stopped pushing it. One buyer told Variety, "No one wants to sip a lawsuit." People ran with that line everywhere. For Brad, the timing couldn't have been worse. He was about to drop a new movie, his big shot at a comeback. Instead, every reporter grilled him about the emails. Clips of him on the press circuit got chopped up and plastered with captions like, "He's acting on and off screen." Even his fan pages couldn't post without the comments devolving into arguments. Angelina felt it too, just in a different way. Her UN trips, once off limits for criticism, got hit with backlash. People spammed her charity photos with "open the emails" and "free the receipts." Her do-gooder glow faded behind all the online noise. Both of them lost the same thing: trust. In Hollywood, image is everything. Once the audience sees cracks, they stop buying in. Insiders said brands started to pull away. One luxury label hit pause on a campaign with Jolie. Pitt's Miraval partners started complaining about the brand's reputation tanking. It stopped being just personal money was on the line now. And the PR fixes? They just made things messier. When Brad's team tried to say, "We're focused on fairness, not revenge," TikTok fired back with, "Sure, January." Jolie's side posted a soft-focus family photo. Reddit tore it apart, frame by frame. Nobody cared about the truth anymore. People had already chosen sides. The headlines called it "The Mirage of Miraval," a love story sold as real until the paperwork told a different tale. Both stars built their careers on selling emotion, and now the narrative was eating them alive. Hollywood's golden couple turned into a warning, not about romance or heartbreak, but about what happens when the internet smells blood. Doesn't matter if you're an A-lister, nobody's immune from a public feeding frenzy. So the real question isn't who wins the lawsuit, it's who the crowd forgives first. Once the headlines hit their peak, both sides scrambled. Not with quiet backroom talks, no. This was big-budget, lawyer-stacked PR, the kind Hollywood rolls out when things get messy. Brad's team kicked things off. Suddenly, sources close to Pitt started popping up everywhere. People, Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, every quote sounded the same. He's not mad, just hurt. He's after transparency, not revenge. He's fighting for his legacy, not against her. That defending legacy line? It landed in 3 different magazines in less than 2 days. You didn't need a PR degree to spot the game. Angelina's camp answered, but with a softer, more emotional angle. Stories appeared about sleepless nights, the kids' stress, the weight of being cast as the villain. A Vogue insider called her exhausted but resolute. It worked for a moment. Sympathy started drifting her way. Then Brad's lawyers dropped a new motion, conveniently late on a Friday, right on cue for the weekend rumor mill. The filing used loaded phrases: suppression of evidence, intentional concealment of documents. By nightfall, Twitter was on fire again. Suddenly, everything got calculated. One day, she'd share a humanitarian update. The next, his team leaked a friend's quote about how Brad just wants to move on. Every article, every photo, every word, they were all about shaping the story. Hollywood pros call this narrative tug of war. You don't fix your reputation, you just keep battling until everyone's too tired to care. Except this time, no one seemed to look away. The harder both sides tried to steer the story, the more the internet pulled it apart. Reddit users tracked PR drops like clockwork. TikTokers made statement bingo videos, guessing which cliché would land next. Respectfully, healing, family, moving forward. Every time a keyword hit, someone clipped it and called it out. And somehow, every push to make things feel real just made it look more fake. When Jolie's rep said she only wanted to be free from his control, people shot back. Then why keep sending press releases? When Pitt's lawyer said he wishes her peace, someone tweeted, "Nothing says peace like a subpoena." Neither team seemed to get it. In 2025, damage control isn't about staying quiet, it's about wearing people out. Fans don't forget, they just keep scrolling. And when the algorithm catches your drama, it never really lets go. Maybe the lawyers will win motions. The PR folks will spin their stories. But online, there's no end, just endless screenshots, living forever. So what do you get when both sides try to rewrite the same story at the same time, in the same feed? Pure chaos, all dressed up in perfect grammar. By early 2025, things looked calm, at least on the surface. Scroll through the happy photos and polished Instagram posts, and you'd think the Miraval mess was ancient history. But in court, the case dragged on. More filings, more delays, more redacted exhibits. None of the pain really faded. Brad wanted damages. We're talking up to $35 million, and his team kept tossing out that the number could climb, depending on discovery. Translation: if those 22 emails ever see daylight, the whole game shifts. People in the know started saying the money wasn't the point anymore. Brad wanted something public. He wanted someone to admit he'd been wronged. Meanwhile, Angelina just drifted away from Hollywood. No more red carpets or splashy premieres. Instead, UN conferences, humanitarian trips, magazine shoots somewhere far from LA. Every headline tried to sell it as moving forward, but if you looked closer, you saw the real story distance, maybe even retreat. Industry folks started crunching numbers. Miraval's US sales dropped 18% after the lawsuit went public. Pitt's endorsements iced over. One luxury watch brand swapped him out, blaming schedule conflicts. Jolie's big humanitarian project lost a major luxury partner, officially over creative differences. They'd traded icon status for tabloid curiosity. And the court docs? They just kept coming. February brought another batch advisor's names, weird timestamps, scraps of deal language. Nothing shocking, nothing illegal. But every tiny leak sparked more rumors. Everyone wondered what else was hiding behind those black bars. By spring, fans got tired. The story felt stale. Then, out of nowhere, a lawyer on TikTok broke down the case in plain English, and the whole thing blew up again. Comment sections filled up with, "Wait, didn't we already see this?" Sure, but drama always gets a second act. Both sides stayed quiet. Journalists noticed neither Brad nor Angelina even used each other's names anymore, just the opposing party. Hollywood royalty turned into legal jargon. There's something both sad and oddly poetic about that. Two of the most famous faces in the world, now just case numbers and digital files. The couple that once defined glamour, now defined litigation. Still, some fans hold on to hope for a secret reconciliation. But let's be real, lawyers don't write happy endings, they just file them away. So when the next motion drops, and maybe those emails finally come out, what's really on the line isn't just a vineyard, it's their reputations, hanging on whatever the public decides to believe. Funny how a love story can turn into a courtroom saga, right? By late 2025, both sides acted like old war generals smiling for the cameras, then firing off legal briefs behind the scenes. Every couple of weeks, a fresh stack of paperwork hit the docket. Each stamped confidential, each sparking another round of wild headlines and Twitter theories. Fans joked the court filings had more twists than a streaming drama. Now, everything hinges on those emails. 22 messages, just fragments really, but enough to launch 1,000 gossip threads. Judges have seen them behind closed doors. Journalists keep guessing. Reddit detectives swear they've cracked the code on line 17. The truth? Nobody outside that courtroom knows what's in them. That's what keeps everyone hooked. Analysts say the next hearing lands in early 2026. Pitt's lawyers want every scrap of evidence. Jolie's team fights to lock things down. Privacy versus proof, it's not just about the money anymore. If those emails look like a calculated business move, Pitt's argument blows up. If they're just back-and-forth negotiation, his whole revenge plot fizzles. Either way, reputations are on the line. Picture the scene. Camera flashes outside the courthouse, pundits practicing their hot takes, fans glued to live blogs like it's the Oscars. Someone's bound to leak something. Someone else will call it fake. YouTube will go wild, everyone uploading the Miraval files. Part 2. Here's the kicker. Neither of them actually needs this. They're both loaded. Their legacies could take a dozen scandals and keep rolling. But legacy isn't the prize anymore. The story is. Whoever gets the last word wins. So, what's next? Maybe the court finally cracks those attachments open. Maybe someone accidentally leaks them. Or maybe just maybe they settle, sign a stack of NDAs, and pretend it never happened. But even silence would make headlines. Meanwhile, Miraval sits out there in the sun, rosé fermenting, vines climbing, tourists sipping wine with both names on the label. The vineyard doesn't care who owns it. Hollywood does. Because behind every celebrity empire, there's always a contract, a password, or an email chain waiting to make news. So when those emails finally see daylight, will we get scandal? Or just two people fighting for the same storybook ending? Either way, we'll be watching. Same time, same channel. Because in Hollywood, the show never really ends. It just rolls into the next episode.